Meanwhile, though, the Pokemon Company has bought an ad in this year's Super Bowl, which is a huge statement. First time ever for Pokemon. That's a ton of money. It's an enormous audience, like 100 million people. They are really pulling out the big guns here. So what do we think it is? Is it Pokemon Go?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it is. Like you said, it's a ton of money. I think last year it was about $4.5 million just to run a 30-second commercial in the Super Bowl once. So, it's probably going to be at least that much, if not more, this year. This could be, as much as like a $5 million, one-time drop for them. So, but like you said, over 100 million people are usually watching the Super Bowl live. So, I think if there's a game you're going to show off here, it's Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I think if you look at all the other sort of like single products that are coming out soon, you have, the hardware bundles, which I think we'll talk about in a second, for the Pokemon Retro games. You have the Pokemon Retro games themselves, and you have Pokken Tournament. Maybe Pokken Tournament would be appropriate because this is a competitive event and that's a competitive game, but
Bandai Namco is developing a Pokeball game where you throw Pokeballs in arcades in real life. Do you think that's it, buddy? Can we hope?
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that's unlikely. It's interesting that you bring up Pokken Tournament because timetable-wise that would make sense since it's probably coming in March and the Super Bowl's in February, but I just don't see that game being a big enough seller since it's going to come, to Wii U, which is a low-selling platform, that it would justify a Super Bowl commercial.
I don't think it's particularly likely either. It would just be sort of a nice fit. I mean, they're not going to spend the money, like we've been saying. Pokemon Go certainly is the property to spend $4 million on.
Right. Well, I mean, we saw it basically broke the internet when just the trailer launched, so, those are the Pokemon fans showing the rest of the world what a big deal this was. And now, I think a lot of people responded really well to that ad, even who do not follow Pokemon. I saw a ton of people who maybe had only played Red or Blue, maybe Gold or Silver, but would have never struck me as people who would like playing Pokemon talking about this, sharing it on Facebook, and, saying, I'm so excited for Pokemon Go. And so I think that they can really tap into a much more widespread audience there. And, the potential is all there to make this a massive mainstream success. So, of course, what other product besides Pokemon Go for the Super Bowl?
Right, and, the Super Bowl, it's simulcast in, like, over 100 different countries as well. So, whereas Pokemon in general might have a stronger, weak presence in different countries, smartphones are basically everywhere at this point. So if you're going to want to broadcast a game to everyone in the world, I think the smartphone game is the smart way to go.
Yeah. And the only other thing that I could see being monumental enough is just the 20th anniversary as a whole, but that's something that's so huge and diverse that there's just no way they can cram it all into a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah. I mean, they might be able to do like a splash spot and talk about, hey, the movies, games, cards, everything's getting awesome stuff, and then, just kind of hide the
Super
content.
Super Bowl appropriate, though.
Yeah, exactly. Something like Niantic made with that Pokemon Go ad, that's what people want to watch at Super Bowls. Super Bowls are the top quality commercials. They're not Nintendo's YouTube videos.
Right.
Which are, by the way, not super top quality YouTube videos. Hello everybody, thank you for listening to this Nintendo Week clip, NWC. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to us here on YouTube for more highlights and discussion videos from Nintendo Week podcast, or subscribe to us on iTunes for weekly breakdowns of all your Nintendo news, discussion segments on subjects, games, and more, and tons of other features. Thanks for listening, and we will see you tomorrow with another NWC.